we're back, and it's Christmas, and our fingers are crossed that there's not going to be any more write errors on our recording. But how long was I futzing around with that for? Like 30 minutes
At
to get
least,
the update.
Yeah.
So
but it worked. We hope.
Fingers crossed. Don't jinx it.
Sorry, the transfer worked from the computer.
Yeah. So what I was saying before we got started. Hello, Christmas edition, Critique-Opolis. We're back. This episode, we're covering Frybreadface Me. This was your pick.
It was.
Which means you get to lead the charge. And what I had mentioned before the recording went haywire is we're going to do a little different. I know that people who listen to podcasts like to see the same. Once the recorders stick with a decide on a format, it's pretty widely accepted that you stick with that format. Just in the interest of time, we're going to cover the dailies today. We're going to review a Blacklist next time, just because there's a lot to cover today. How did you pick this one?
It came up on my Netflix. I think maybe I searched independent films or something, and it just caught my attention because it looked like it was about a kid.
Because it was about a kid?
Yeah, a kid in culture, and so
again, remind everyone you're a teacher. Otherwise, they're going to be like, "What's up, weirdo?"
I don't hear it like that. So it's good that you said that. Well, yeah, I'm a preschool teacher. I love kids, so I like movies about kids.
I thought you just saw it because I have native blood in me, and you wanted me to give you a hard time that this is about Navajo people and not about Ojibwe.
I mean, there's that detail too.
No, whatever. I totally fed that to you.
I was like, well, maybe I'll watch this. He would enjoy it. I would enjoy it. I don't know.
It was, the synopsis is two adolescent Navajo cousins from different worlds bond during a summer herding of sheep on their grandmother's ranch in Arizona while learning more about the family's past and themselves. It wasn't I think it was average. What, it was like 90 minutes?
Yeah, maybe like an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, but the pacing wasn't, I wouldn't call it slow, but I mean, for a 90-minute movie, it was pretty, it takes place in the desert, so how fast can it be?
Yeah, true. I think, so I'm a fan of our local downtown Ann Arbor historic theaters, and I feel like had this been on someone's radar, it would have shown at the Michigan Theater, and I would have been very happy to go see it at the movie theater. It seems like a movie that they would show there.
Is that the kind of thing where they don't, would it show up later, or do they only show newer releases? Because you were part of you were a member there.
Mm-hmm. I was a member there, but I wasn't a member with regard to could I pick the films that they showed and make suggestions and things like that?
No, I'm just wondering in question of timing, if they would if something like this might show up in 2 years, or is it only when they first come out?
I feel like it would be when it first comes out, but I don't know how long this movie has been out, because I think that's part of why I chose it, because again, it showed up on my Netflix, and so I thought, yeah, this looks like something I want to watch.
They have, depending on whether a studio or a distributor backs a project, sometimes the producers just have to take a movie on the road, like I do with Honey, but they just take it from theater to theater, or from groups of theaters. They have a small distribution deal, and then they have to manually push it around. But I don't know much about the director, Billy Luther. He also wrote it, so I'm gonna I'm gonna guess that he's probably Navajo. Just the whole frame of the movie smelt like somebody was writing from a perspective of having grown up in that culture. You know how they say with writers, if you're going to be a good writer, you got to write about what you know. Mm-hmm. And they live on the reservation in this movie. I'm so bad with the names. What was the boy's name? Benny. Big Fleetwood Mac fan, and cast in, what was it, in the 90s? It was set in the 90s?
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
Sure. I really don't know.
Well, it wasn't the 80s.
No, it definitely wasn't.
It wasn't the 80s, but Fleetwood Mac is a 70s and 80s band, which was kind of funny to see.
Maybe like the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was funny to see like an adolescent from not that long ago, you know, being a big Fleetwood Mac fan. He had that shirt on for the bulk of the movie.
Yeah, and he talked about wanting to go to their concert, and I thought that was funny too.
Yeah.
That's such a funny thing for him to say, being so young. Like, yeah, I know who Fleetwood Mac. I knew who when I first learned who Fleetwood Mac was. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I like these songs, but like,
I think I told you, like, my sister was a huge Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac fan, and I think she saw him probably 12 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But the stars, Keir Tallman, Charlie Hogan, and Sarah Natan. I think they probably have a stronger footprint in the Native American acting world. But I mean, the synopsis was, I wouldn't say it was an overly heavy movie. Just, you know, when you're an adolescent, you kind of feel pushed around. And Frybread is, you know, she's a heavier girl, but she's got like the attitude to go, like she doesn't get pushed around, I wouldn't say, because she's more of she just has more grit to her. I think she was the one who grew up out on the ranch on the reservation, and Benny was the one who grew up in the city.
Yeah, and he was just dropped off for the summer, I think, right?
And that was the other funny thing, is it wasn't really, it was just kind of like, it seemed very, not hodgepodge, what's the word I want? Like half a step away from abandonment, the way adults treated these kids who were just like, you're going out to the middle of the desert for the summer. Well, what for? Don't worry about that. And he just gets dropped off in the middle of nowhere
literally just dropped off.
Yeah, in front of a mobile home.
Yeah, and I feel like he didn't know anybody there, or maybe he
barely knows his relatives.
Barely knew them. Like, he met them when he was a baby.
Yeah.
A baby.
And grandmother speaks Navajo. She doesn't speak any English at all.
None whatsoever. And Benny only speaks English and doesn't understand Navajo.
And what's the uncle's name? The uncle's just kind of a grouch. But you kind of figure out why he's a grouch, because he's the last person to herd sheep in that family. And there's no one else to do it and take care of grandma, so he's kind of relegated to that position in life.
Yep. I thought it was a very interesting portrayal of a life like that, and to his perspective from a child, like growing up in that.
Yeah, because
growing up that way.
You don't really see. You just see you're kind of in the atmosphere, in the orbit of the brother. You can tell that he's having a rough go of it, but you're not like, it's not from his perspective. It's from somebody on the outside, like, hey, this guy's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But as you get to know the brother, they don't spend a ton of time digging deep into him. But as the movie goes on, you're like, oh yeah, no wonder he's a grouch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they have, what is it? She's like the aunt. So the 20-year-old aunt who wants to go to beauty school.
Oh yeah, I know. I was kind of confused about exactly
Where she lived. She
well,
just would
actually,
kind of
everything about her character.
Yeah, she was kind of like the bridge between the reservation and the city, because she was working to move out to the city.
Yeah.
And she was trying to go to beauty school, and her she got by just selling Native American like earrings.
Oh yeah.
But
That's
just
right.
kind of she was, oddly enough, she was the most, well, her and the grandmother were both the most grounded. I'll tell you what, though, it shines a light on being a poor Native American, and like having that, and they spent the summer out in the sticks, but
Yeah, really in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
the synopsis says they spent some time herding sheep, and there's like a scene for that, but I don't know if I would say it's there was like, what, 10 minutes? They lose a sheep at one point, then they have to go find it.
I think it's just one of the interesting things that happened to them when Benny was on the reservation. Like they just, like you said, they happened to herd sheep, and throughout the summer, in the time that Benny was there, he was fixing the fence that kept all the sheep in. And so it was more or less his fault that the sheep escaped, and the family that lived on the reservation was unhappy.
I always find that funny, because like he doesn't, like, he just shows up, and like when the uncle's the one who says it's your fault they got out, he's like, well, I didn't do anything. I don't know anything about fixing a fence.
I thought about that several times. He just got dropped off for the summer. He's never lived a life like this. How does he know? Like, how could you be mad at him? Because you just expected him to go out and fix this fence, and I mean, I wouldn't know how to fix a fence if someone was like, "Here."
That's what I mean. I think the uncle was just. It wouldn't have mattered what Benny did. He was just angry. He's just angry. He shows up. He's like, one more thing I gotta pay attention to. That's gonna slow down my day to day.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get Benny's parents were splitting up. Was that?
Yeah, I think they were getting a divorce, and I think it was easier if Benny wasn't there to like be in the middle of it, because in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, they kind of dust over it.
They do really dust over it. Benny asked where his dad was. His mom said, yeah.
And then mom comes to pick him up at the end of the summer, and she's all somber, and which I guess communicates this is someone who just went through a divorce.
Yeah, I feel like.
And Benny doesn't really get any answers.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I feel like at the beginning of the movie, obviously something was going on, and then I think they got more or less resolved, like their divorce went through and they were like fully separated. And so Benny could come home, and she came to pick him up and bring him back, and it was just going to be the two of them.
Yeah, just being a child of divorce, like as you're watching this, I'm like, oh, I remember all this crap, like feeling powerless, and like these things are just kind of happening to me, and I can't do shit about it.
And your parents aren't happy, and
I find that funny. Like when people have these revelations as they're adults, they're like, I don't have to stand for whatever.
Yeah.
Because like the first part of your life, things are just happening to you, and you have to go with it.
Yeah, and you don't know.
And then there comes a point in a lot of people's lives where something is happening to them or around them, and they're unhappy or unsatisfied with it, and they just have a realization that like, oh, I don't have to take this shit.
Right.
I can just like, I'm an adult, I can put my foot down and say no. And some people never get there.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, like you have so many years where you're just like, okay, mom and dad can't keep it together, so I can't live in this house anymore. Or I have to go with this person. I have to go to this school. I can't, like, I have this shitty friend group, and I can't get away from them because I can't drive and I can't pick my own friends, and you know. So, yeah, if you're, I'd recommend this to someone who's like, if you've had divorce in your past, like especially when you were a kid, this would be interesting to see.
I liked it. I liked this movie a lot. It was definitely up my alley.
All right, so my recipe. This is going to be, oh my, I'm looking at this on Instagram, and I got to tell you, Bell Farm, Iowa is using for their image on Instagram. It's a picture of one of my cubby bears. Not mine, but it's not my label, but the format's the same. It's a little one.
Oh, interesting. And it has honey in it?
Yeah.
What kind of honey?
I don't know. I can't tell. Just some. The image is too small. I'll show it to you later. But it's.
Okay.
I would be stunned if anyone listening to this. Well, I guess if you're out of the country, you may not have had this. This is a popular recipe at Christmas time. It's got a zillion different names for it, but it's a Chex Mix last minute treat. Peanut Butter Honey Chex. I don't know if you'd eat that.
I've never had peanut butter honey Chex. I've had puppy chow.
Yes, like some people call it puppy chow. I've heard some people. I've heard other names for it that are escaping me right now. But pretty easy to make. 1 box of Corn Chex cereal, 1 cup peanut butter, 1 cup honey, preferably mine. 1 package butterscotch chips. I think if you were going to use the Hey Honey stuff, hazelnut or cinnamon would be good with this.
Sounds delicious.
Or, you know what? I would even say the Paradise Parfait with the ice cream bean. That'd be it'd be an expensive mix of...
It would be a good flavor.
It'd be an expensive mix of puppy chow, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's the holidays.
Combine peanut butter, honey, and butterscotch chips in a microwave-safe dish. Microwave on medium power. Stir regularly until melted. Pour over the cereal to stir, and then coat. Spread it out on wax paper, and that's it. Let it cool. Yeah, that's about it. It's holiday time, and for anyone listening now, if your holidays are anything like ours, we're not working that hard.
We're not. We're chilling. We're hanging out.
Crack of noon is basically when we're getting up, dining on a breakfast cereal bowl of ice cream. So yeah, if you're feeling peckish, give that a whirl. Like I said, we're not going to do the Blacklist today, but the highlights from the dailies we are going to give you, and I think you probably found a few things interesting that I did not. Well, I mean, you picked out different things that I didn't pick out.
I hope so.
What did you trip across? Well, I'm trying to find my my article here.
So this recent dailies email. Let's see. Things that were of note to me. Well,
lay it on me. Let me have it.
Okay, the first commentary that I have to make is about the musical Wonka that came out. Because...
Okay, I rescind my earlier statement. This is not something that I would have paid attention to. I don't like Timothée Chalamet. He doesn't do anything for me.
I thought your earlier statement was that you were hoping that we had picked out different things.
No, that I meant, but it doesn't surprise me that anything about Wonka or Timothée Chalamet,
comes out of my mouth.
I feel nothing for that guy.
Yeah, I know.
But go ahead.
Well, so I thought when I first saw a preview for this movie, I thought it was an interesting choice. And I was like, that looks really strange. I don't know if I would go to see that movie. A friend of mine wants to go see it. I'll go see it with her. But I'm also thinking it's very interesting because in the dailies it says today that it did really well for its first weekend out.
Oh, and then it dropped off hard? No?
It doesn't say it dropped off yet. I think it just came out, so it's it's maybe not even been out for a week, but,
Our boy Jesselnick was taking a giant dump on that movie.
I mean, it looked strange. The preview just looked off to me. But, it's like the holidays and I don't know.
I don't think you really cared for the Johnny Depp one either. I get why they cast those two guys, but I kind of agree with him in that the Gene Wilder, the original, is the one that's, it still holds up.
Yeah, it's just,
You like Chalamet, though, so...
I forgot to say that. I do, and that's why I thought it was an interesting choice. I just didn't see him in that role, but apparently somebody must like it because it beat past December musicals Into the Woods and Mary Poppins Returns, and being a fan of both of those, I mean, I went to the movie theater at Christmas time to see those movies. And I would not have thought that Wonka would beat those movies. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Something that caught my eye, and I heard our boys, Sam Morrell and, oh God, what's his name? We just listened to one of their podcasts. Mark Norman. I love these guys as comedians, and I think Louisa does too, but sometimes Mark gets a little foul-mouthed for her taste. It was one of their podcasts, but it was, oh God, what's his name? I don't know what's the matter with me and my brain fog. I can't remember anything right after I say it. Not Mark Norman. Sam commented that the only thing that's really holding up traditional cable and television now is sports. And apparently Netflix, ESPN, and Peacock are serving up live sports. And they're starting to, and they're making inroads there that are pretty significant.
Yeah, this is so interesting. I was going to comment on this as well. Excuse me.
This is going to make, I mean, from what I've seen, this is going to be the death stroke to traditional TV and cable, because they just generate such, I mean, they generate a lot of money, but it's kind of the only thing that's keeping traditional TV alive. I mean, nobody watches those shows anymore.
Yeah, no.
I mean, they can't garner enough advertising revenue from Ozempic to keep NCIS and reruns, going.
Yeah. And with streaming and DVD, I mean, DVDs are old now, but with streaming, I mean, that's just how everyone watches everything.
I think let me see what it's got here about, so Netflix has a Nadal and Alcaraz. It's a live tennis match that, what's it called? The Netflix Slam, scheduled for March of 2024.
Which is an interesting first choice, I think, a tennis match, but...
I mean, I get that they're not going after football right away. They want to go after something that they can actually... it's high profile enough. It'd be like that, or
I'm sure lots of people will tune in to watch.
Yeah, they need something to get a hook. That or like horse racing. Like if they started putting the Derby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would they want to grab a chunk of viewers if they do a good job with it, which I'm sure if they're investing a decent amount of capital into it, is going to garner a nice chunk of eyeballs, and then other sports are going to gravitate over. But this just feels like another step to the dissolving of television.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This event is going to happen at Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas. It's a statement of Netflix's evolving content strategy, aiming to attract diverse international audience. I think that's the thing why they went with tennis, because it's not just Americans who watch it. It's not like...
That's a good point. And the two tennis stars aren't American. I don't even know, actually. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know if they're American, but I mean, they like Nadal and Alcaraz. I mean, they're gonna grab a huge chunk of Latin viewers. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was interesting from the perspective of sports has been the one thing that traditional TV has been holding on, and that was a comment that Sam made, was that Monday Night Football that's what keeps TV alive.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of people still tune into Monday Night Football. I hear
But-
coworkers and friends talk about it all the time. I would never watch it, but
But I mean, like, it'll just become, just another app or streaming component.
yep.
I was going to comment on another. There have been a couple of dailies that have come out that we didn't talk about because it's been a little while since the last show, but there's a couple of streaming services that are merging. I think, is it Paramount and Disney? Do you remember reading something about that?
It's Disney and ESPN.
ESPN,
I
and
think.
then Paramount bonded with somebody. Like, people don't come to us for like the latest.
Oh no, it's Hulu. Sorry,
Paramount
that was really
and
loud. Yeah, it's
Disney and
and Hulu.
But Paramount hooked up with somebody else
I don't
because they
remember
can't
Paramount.
sustain their channels by themselves. So
is
they're Go
it
ahead.
Warner Brothers and Paramount?
maybe
'Cause the dailies that we're talking about today, that's what it says.
Is that what it said? Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
Warner
it was.
Brothers and Paramount. Okay, maybe. So
I'll be interested to see how they overall in 2024 and 2025 they compete with Netflix, just because from like an investing standpoint, Netflix just had their data service, their analytics. It's just a behemoth. Like, they know how to serve up content and advertising associated with it,
yep.
like, better than anybody. And they're like, half of their business is data.
Yeah.
And I don't know that any of the other streaming services compete to the degree that Netflix does. So with Warner Brothers and Paramount teaming their service up and Disney trying to do, I would have to guess, just from their size, Disney would probably be the biggest threat. But I don't know. I mean, they have, what do they have now? They have Star Wars. They have, Disney better than I do.
Oh.
What else do they have?
National Geographic
Yeah.
and
I don't think they have a ton
Star
of
Wars.
I don't know if they have a ton in the way of original content like Netflix does.
I don't feel like they do have a ton of original content. They have I think the Marvel universe too.
Yeah, they license a bunch of stuff, which is going to be was going to be my next comment. I think it was streamers are shifting to licensing. Did you see that?
No.
You could see that with Seinfeld. That was a big deal.
I see this. Okay, yeah.
Like, I should know who cut that deal with who.
Netflix cut it with someone for $4 million. I read that
like
somewhere.
4 million. It's got to be a lot more than that. You mean per episode or per season or something?
I don't know, but yeah, you're right. It had to be something small, like in that.
Chat for
Not
a little bit
total.
while I search this.
I feel like I read it in one of the dailies, to be honest. But I have to say, I've never seen Seinfeld before, and I've definitely been enjoying it on Netflix.
Oh yeah, 4 million was way low. Why did Netflix pay more than 500 million for Seinfeld?
Oh, that's what it says. Yeah, because like you said, when I
You
saw
just
that,
left a couple zeros off.
when I saw that, I thought, for the whole show,
Yeah, no way. Yeah,
that's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
yeah. I think that's.
So what does it say?
Let me look
about-
here. Yeah, this, from what I read in the dailies, it seems like this is going to be the next, and that's the alternative to creating new projects, is licensing old ones for, which really is kind of a, I mean, I get how it's a revenue generator for the producers.
Yeah.
People don't turn on this. But that kind of dovetails into the argument of that used to be the great thing about Hollywood was like people would take chances on projects, and now they're just like when you have an old property that was really popular, like just keep reselling it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of rolling the dice and making a gamble on a $40 million movie, not sure whether or not anybody will like it. I'm like, that's really the only way you find gold,
right,
is by taking risks. And let's see, Jerry Seinfeld proclaimed his character on 1991 episode of Seinfeld. At that point, he was making a comfortable $40,000 per episode. 3 decades later, he's gotten more chances to turn down money than his character could have ever dreamed of. Seinfeld was a huge hit while on air, earning the comedian $267 million in '98 alone. Can you imagine?
No way.
Generational wealth. Then raked in billions after that year's finale.
Wait, say it one more time. How much?
He then raked in billions after that year's finale. First through record-breaking syndication deals, and now a streaming juggernaut. That's why they resell it from platform to platform. Okay, so Netflix globally is part of a 5-year deal for reportedly $500 million.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see what other old properties start circulating around Netflix, or if Disney starts doing more of that, or what. Late night. I'm sorry. Did you have another? What was your next thing?
My next thing is from the section called Last Looks.
Go ahead.
Is that okay? Thank you. In development, Stanley Tucci partners with National Geographic for a new 10-part docu-series called Tucci, the Heart of Italy. And I love everything about that, this, and I would love that. You saw a promo, like video content?
Very, very, very small, yeah. But I saw something about, like maybe 10 seconds of it.
And I think
it was him running around Italy and drinking wine.
Yeah, and like eating good food, pizza and pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think that Stanley Tucci and someone else have tried to do this before, and for whatever reason, I think it's that this type of show or docu-series was canceled before, and so now
really
they're doing a new one, I guess. Anyway, I might have to subscribe to whatever this is on so I can watch it, because I would enjoy this.
You don't
no,
remember
I can
why
look
it
and
tanked?
see. No, I don't think it even got off and running.
Oh, really?
But I love Stanley Tucci and Italy and food, and that would just be super fun. I think he maybe lives there. National Geographic has ordered Tucci, the Heart of Italy, a 10-part series. It comes after the Warner Brothers Discovery-owned network CNN canceled Stanley Tucci's Searching for Italy, which won 2 Emmys for Outstanding Hosted Nonfiction Series or Special after 2 seasons.
See, this is the thing about Hollywood that makes me nuts, is like somebody creates a project and it starts to get legs, and then it gets awards, and then they shit can it.
Yeah.
And like, this is gonna push me into a conversation about companies and how they're dumb. Like, I don't know. I'm not running. Who was that with?
Warner Brothers.
Who knows why they did it? I mean, probably to make room for something else that was making more money.
Canceled. Yeah, probably. But that's too bad. I would watch that.
Late night apparently has an uncertain future, which I will bet is connected to the dissolving of traditional cable and regular television, because sports is being eroded. I'll bet you those two are related.
Probably
Heading into 2024, late night TV is in a state of flux, despite challenges like the writer's strike and the loss of the Late Late Show. Shows like Late Show and Stephen Colbert maintain their lead with Jimmy Kimmel Live and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. vying for the following spots. Newcomers like Taylor Tomlinson's After Midnight add diversity to the mix. However, the broader landscape is shifting with cancellations and shows like the Amber Ruffin Show being pushed aside. Streaming sectors struggle to crack the late night code ads. Then, like, that's got to be a challenge. Who's got enough personality?
Yeah.
I mean, not that there's not an actor or a comedian out there that couldn't carry a show.
Right.
I don't, and would want to. I mean, like, we listen to a lot of comedians every week, and they really make the case for, like, I mean, what a comedian does is it's not dissimilar from me being at farmers markets, you know.
Yeah, it's just a different
venue.
Venue.
It's just a different venue. They can make good money selling tickets, bouncing around wherever they want to go. So to be locked into, I mean, you'd have to throw a lot of money at a host.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess it doesn't really matter. You'd have to throw a lot of money at a host to get him to come off of the tour schedule. But if the show you're trying to promote doesn't take off, then they just go back out on the road.
Yeah, that's true.
Because any comedian worth their salt, if they're going to be considered for late night, has got to be already selling tickets.
Yeah, that's very true.
And if they're selling,
really good point.
Yeah, and then you have the golden handcuffs if you go to work for a company, if you go to be a late night host.
Yeah, you're guaranteed.
So yeah, and like a lot of comedians, they're freewheelers. They do what they want when they want, and they have to lock them up. Like, you gotta have
changes things.
You gotta have a lot of incentives.
Yeah.
Like,
there's definitely a lot of incentives. Well said.
The future of The Daily Show and its new host, along with Saturday Night Live nearing its 50th anniversary, could signal significant changes for the genre. So we will see.
We will see. That is very interesting. Gosh, I remember when the late night shows used to be a really big thing.
Yeah, that was back when there was 3 networks.
Yeah.
4. I remember when Fox came on the scene and people were like, "Whoa, there's 4? Back up!"
Oh, no way. Is it okay?
Yeah, no, we're fine. Movie projects. Sony secures global theatrical distribution for Apple original films, Wolves. Did you see this with your boy Clooney and Brad Pitt?
I did read it, but I didn't see it.
I guess they are fixers, which I would assume would mean they are like political fixers. There's a bunch of projects, but this one just caught my eye because I like Clooney and Pitt.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's see here. Apple original films. The deal returns Spider-Man franchise filmmaker John Watts, who's going to direct Wolves, to the Sony Culver City Studios.
Oh, they haven't made it yet. I was on the wrong thing for a minute.
Watts also wrote and produced Wolves, which follows 2 lone wolf fixers assigned to the same job. So I don't know if they're going to be hitmen or political fixers or what. Star-studded cast includes Academy Award nominee and SAG Award winner Amy Ryan. And Clooney and Pitt are also producers. And this is what, I don't know if this is just shoddy journalism or AI writing this, but it says Clooney and Pitt are also producers. It has that sentence written 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Consecutively.
Editing.
Well, yeah, this is from Deadline. Pitt produces alongside Dee Dee Gardner and Jeremy Kleiner for Plan B. And
oh, yeah, that's his studio.
Yep, and Diane McJungley. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, Diane. And then Project Artemis. Primetime Emmy nominee Greg Berlanti, and written by Rose Gilroy, set in the 1960s space race with Johansson and Tatum, starring alongside, get this cast, Jim Rash, Emmy Award winner Ray Romano, So he's probably going to, I'll bet you if he's in the 60s, he's going to have glasses with those horn rims. I'll bet you $1,000. Newcomer Anna Garcia, Donald Elise Watkins, Noah Robbins, Colin Woodle, Nick Dellenberg, and Christian Zuber, and Woody Harrelson. I just want to point out that for how fast I read that, if anyone listening thinks that I'm a Hollywood insider, I don't know 90% of those guys.
I was listening. I was hanging in your every word, waiting for a name that I knew. To
Except
be honest.
Woody.
Yep, except Woody, which I'm glad you threw that in there. I would like to see this preview so I can decide if I'd like to go see this movie because it's about space. I love these movies.
And like, especially the 60s and during the space race, you know it's got to be tense, and it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't really lend itself to comedy.
No, it's
But-
very serious and intense. In fashion, I love, like, back in the day. So also from this segment,
Yeah.
in the dailies, what's this segment called, please?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't
I
be-
think it's in
Speaking
development. No,
Okay.
it's, I'll tell you. Yeah, development.
Thank you. George Clooney again.
Man, you're picking the one I picked. Go ahead.
We just got a chance to talk about the first
I
one.
know,
so
I'm just
going-
giving you a hard
I
time.
know.
The one with Adam
You're right.
Sandler?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
They team up for the first time in an upcoming untitled Netflix film directed by Noah Baumbach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very interested in this for several reasons. The first is George Clooney and Adam Sandler. That would be a very interesting combination. And I'm, again, interested to see how they play off each other. And also I wonder
Well,
what it's
Adam
about.
Sandler does a good job as when you've seen him in dramatic.
Serious.
Yeah, you've seen
this is true.
Uncut Gems.
Yeah. At Christmas,
Yeah, and that was kind of a dark movie, but he was.
But it was good. It was amazing. I didn't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah, his like the characters he played on SNL, like it steps right into him playing a different character but being serious about it.
Oh, so
Like when he plays a character, like he knows how to play a character.
yeah.
And when there's a lot of Sandler movies where it's just Sandler being Sandler.
Yeah, there are.
But when he actually takes on a persona, like that guy was a degenerate gambler, and like it was every part of his being. Like everything he did was like self-serving and selfish and short-sighted
Yeah.
in that movie. And they're like, he was that guy.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see. It didn't say much about the project, did it?
I didn't read more about it, but I like Noah Baumbach. He writes with and is in a relationship with Greta Gerwig, and I love her. And
Who's
they've
the
done
one
some really good projects together.
She did a big one.
Barbie.
No, he did that. Was that her or him? No,
It
she
was
did
her,
that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's attached to it somehow, though.
He might have helped to write
Write it, yeah.
Yeah. But they've done several projects together, and I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Greta Gerwig is in a movie or has something to do with it, I'm gonna watch it. But just to backtrack for a second, your
Yep.
commentary about Adam Sandler. There was a movie recently on Netflix with him as a dad, and his own kid, like his own kids in real life. Remember, it had like a Jewish theme. It was about like a bar mitzvah or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't see it, but yeah.
Anyway, I watched it and I enjoyed it, but again, a different role for him. Like you still knew, obviously, that it was Adam Sandler, but it wasn't like Happy Gilmore Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I agree with what you said. It was very good.
I didn't put this in my notes, but I'm just seeing this. Sean Levy reunites with Ryan Reynolds to direct high-profile, untitled global heist movie. That'll be interesting, following a competitive bidding war.
Who's Sean Levy? Excuse me.
I'm thinking he's the writer.
It's okay. It's okay if you're not sure. I can look it up later.
Streaming giant won the
Sounds pretty fun.
feature package in what was described as an 8-company bidding war. Nice. Levy
Wow.
will direct. Yeah, he's a director. Will direct the feature as well as produce via his 21 Laps production band. Yeah, I've heard of that. He joins producing ensemble that includes Reynolds via his Maximum Effort. Reynolds' production company, and Simon Kinberg and Aubrey Chone through their banner, Genre Films. Ashley Fox, Johnny Pariseau of Maximum Effort are also producing. But let's see what it says about the movie. Details are being kept locked up in the vault, but the project is being touted as high concept global set caper flick via a la Ocean's 11.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I'll totally see that. Molly Milstein and Margie Love will executive produce. Levy and Reynolds have become one of Hollywood's latest creative combos. All right, well, I mean, you got me with this movie. I haven't even seen it yet.
For
though.
Sure. Just the mention of Ryan Reynolds' name.
Yeah, anything, and you slam that together with an updated Ocean's 11, but globe-trotting, I'll totally see it.
Yep.
What are we doing tomorrow? What did we watch today?
Oh, today we finished a movie called Summit of the Gods, I think. Summit of the Gods?
Yeah, and this is a new one for us because it was animated. But I'll tell you, like, I didn't expect to watch this movie and see Louise on the edge of her seat. But
It was, do people say harrowing?
yeah, sure. Why not? It was, well, I'll tell you, it didn't make me want to climb mountains, but...
It definitely did not. It was a mountain climbing movie.
But
Everest.
it was funny because it was anime, but it was like all the production was in French.
It was so I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, we'll chat with that
yeah.
tomorrow. We've got Christmas stuff to watch right now, so definitely Die Hard is on the list. And for any of you who are going to send us hate mail about Die Hard not being a Christmas movie, you can just go kick rocks because I don't want to hear it.
I think the verdict is in and that it is a Christmas movie.
It is, and anyone who says otherwise, you can shut your face.
Oh, yikes.
I'm not hearing that it's not a Christmas movie. I don't want to.
No, I'm not hearing that it's not either. I'm hearing that it is, and that everyone says.
No,
it is.
I mean, like, I will not permit it. I think it's a Christmas movie.
Okay.
And
well,
those-
if you think it's a Christmas movie, then it must be
It
a Christmas
is.
movie.
All right, I'm hungry. We got to go. We'll talk later. Behave yourselves and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.